guys, so I finally got around to watching the new Mean Girls that came out in 2024, starring Renee Rapp and Angourie Rice among many other actors, and I want to share my thoughts with you guys. So I actually grew up with the original Mean Girls. I have pretty high standards going into watching this movie. As you can imagine, Lindsay Lohan definitely truly shined in the role of Cady Heron, and it was like her breakout performance. So yeah, going into watching this movie, my standards were pretty high. So just wanted to preface this whole thing with that. So the movie follows pretty much the same plot as the original, where Cady Heron, the main character, she is homeschooled in Africa by her research scientist parents. Well, in the original, she has a mother and a father figure in her life, but in the remake, she is raised by a single mother played by Jenna Fischer, and they move to the United States. She enrolls in public school in Illinois, and she gets invited to join the popular girls group known as the Plastics. There, she kind of discovers the tumultuous social scene behind the scenes in high school. So essentially it follows the same plot. There are some minor changes and tweaks, as I had mentioned, like the single parent. There were changes to dialogue. Certain scenes were left out. And it also has musical numbers because it follows the Mean Girls musical that was on Broadway. But I think from reading the reviews, they did also leave out some musical numbers. So pretty much it's a combination of the original Mean Girls with the musical plus some updates to dialogue and characters. So overall, it seems like this movie got pretty negative reviews online. Most people thought this was totally unnecessary, and most of the characters couldn't hold a candle to the original one. And yeah, I have to agree. While I think Angourie Rice, the main character, she did a decent job, definitely I don't really think she shined as Lindsay Lohan did. Her performance was pretty stale. Same with the character, I think his name is Christopher Brittany, who plays Aaron Samuels. He was also just really lackluster, I'll have to say. And his performance was pretty forgettable. So I will say that, yeah, none of the characters truly stood out as they did in the original Mean Girls. Although I want to give props to certain actors that they casted that I thought did an awesome job. I thought Renee Rapp did an awesome job as Regina George. She was perfectly cast for that role, and she has an amazing voice, so I do definitely want to give her props on that. I'm going to butcher this actress's name, but Olly Carvalho as Janice, I think she also did an awesome job. And side note, did anyone just feel like she totally resembled Vanessa Hudgens? I feel like that was what was going on through my mind the whole time I saw her on screen. Also, Jaquel Spivey did an awesome job as Damien as well. So yeah, I thought all in all there were some actors that they casted that were really good for the role. Also, I think they did a good job casting the parents as well. Busy Phillips looked exactly like Renee Rapp, and Jenna Fischer looks so much like Angourie Rice. So props to them for those castings. And not to mention, I also want to point out, I was a little bit on the fence about this being a musical. I don't really like it when a movie, when the musical numbers become really disruptive, but it wasn't. I think it was pretty subtly done, and it made sense with each of the scenes, so it wasn't too overwhelming. So I want to give them props for that. Also, I do want to mention that there were some scenes that were taken out, some updates that were made. For example, Cady's parents, that was changed to her being raised by a single mother. There was also obviously they made some updates to integrate TikTok into the scene because it's so ever present in everyone's lives now. Also, the throughway calling was removed. Instead, it just involved texting. And then they also removed certain dialogue, like Karen being obsessed with her cousin at the party. So that was also taken out. So yeah, there are some things that were missing from the original. And I do want to agree with everybody that, or all the reviews I saw online, that I'm not really sure this whole remake was totally necessary, nor do I think it in any way came close to outshining the original. But I just want to say I actually did find myself enjoying this. I thought it was a really nice way to pass the weekend. and it was really fun. And some of the characters I think were very well, or actors were very well casted, as I mentioned. Renee Rapp especially, such a standout role. So yeah, I personally really enjoyed it, and I cannot believe this movie came out so long ago. It's been 20 years. That's crazy. Time like really flies. But yeah, I actually enjoyed it. I want to know what you guys thought, and if you guys had a good time watching it too, because I did. Yeah, and I wonder how this compares with the Broadway musical version as well. I have not seen that yet. So yeah, let me know what you guys think.